Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Andrea and I'm here and I have lots of items to share with you today. I haven't been on in a while because I've been trying to get caught up on a number of knitting and quilting projects that I had going, and I had a little bit of paper crafting going on that I just finished the other day, so I thought, well, this is a good time to jump on. So I'm going to start with my paper crafting projects first. And then if you're interested in seeing the quilting and the knitting projects that I've done, of course you can, stay along and join in on that. And if not, just, feel free to leave whenever you are ready. So, all right, so let's start off with the paper crafting projects. Now, these, I have done up a couple of these little vintage assemblage buckets. I did one in a spring theme, and I did the other one in a July 4th theme. So this project is not my original idea. This comes from Tammy over at Creative Girl Vintage, and if you haven't been to her channel and you like vintage projects, she does a lot of three-dimensional projects that incorporate paper and vintage images and other vintage items. But this, I just thought these were adorable. So what I did was, these are created from a peat pot. And you can get these in the garden center. I think also the big box stores carry them this time of year. So I bought the peat pots. They come in sets. And I bought a package of the large and then a package of these smaller ones here. I think these are about 2.5 inches across. Let's just double check. Yeah, so just under 2.5 inches on that. And then this larger one, I painted this up. I haven't used it yet, obviously, but this one is a little over 3 inches across the top. And then you just paint them with craft paint. Okay, so I've got a little stack of those I'm going to use to create some more of these little pots with. And then after I painted the craft paint on the inside and the outside, I distressed it a little bit with the vintage photo distress oxide stamping pad. And then I added a little disc of like a scalloped circle, and I cut 2 of these out of 110-pound cardstock and glued that to the bottom. And then I added some trim around the top edge. I used a cupcake liner to hot glue onto the inside of the peat pot, and then added some crepe paper fringing inside of that. And then on the back of the little, this is a Tim Holtz little girl image here you can see in the pot. I colored her up with some Sharpie markers in pale colors, and then I added some netting behind her. I glued that in with a hot glue gun. And then I added some little die-cut stars, a pipe cleaner handle, stars on the front, and then a little bow on the side here. I just think she's so cute. I'm going to put her down on my fireplace mantle for springtime. So that's the first one, and then the second one is just a variation on the theme, and I used July 4th paper crafting items that I had in my stash. And again, same procedure. I distressed it, the peat pot a little bit after I painted it, added some sparkly items around it's kind of like a tinsel. I actually got this tinsel last year at Hobby Lobby. They had it on clearance with the July 4th clearance items, and it came in a package of red, white, and blue tinsel. And it's a very tiny size, which is great for small assemblages like this. And again, some netting behind the vintage lady here that I, again, colored her in with Sharpie. I added a cupcake pick that I also colored with like a cream-colored Sharpie, just to kind of give it an aged look. And then some little gold stars I glued in there as well, and then some ribbon at the top. So these are just so cute. I'd like to make a few more of these for my mantle for this summer, when we decorate for July 4th. So that is my paper crafting project there. And then I recently joined, over the winter, I joined a miniature quilting club at a quilt shop near me. And we're using the Simple Whatnots 2 book by Kim Deal. And these are all miniature size quilts. And so each month we choose a different quilt to work on. And the first one that we did is this one here. It's called Matchsticks. And I'm a little bit newer. I mean, I've done a little bit of quilting. You know, I've dabbled with it only occasionally over the past number of years. And now that I'm retired, I have a little bit more time. So I'm digging a little deeper into it. And I really love doing the miniature quilts because they don't take as long to finish. And yet the results are so charming. And I just love the small size of them. And they're a little bit more useful to me. I mean, I can use these as table mats and things like that, or wall hangings. I don't really have a place to put lots of quilts, big, bed-size quilts. So this is my take on the the matchstick quilt in Kim Deal's book. Okay, and you can see here is like an up and down pattern. And I chose to do mine more of like with this, rectangular shaped block with the lights and the darks. And I'm learning a lot. I hand quilted the center of this quilt. And then, of course, the binding and the backing. The quilt was assembled all by machine. And so again, I'm learning, a few little tricks on how to bind these correctly. And then I'm noticing that you have to be extremely precise when you're cutting these tiny little pieces. I mean, if you're off even just a small amount, it throws the whole size of the quilt off tremendously. And then trying to match up, the corners where the shapes intersect was very challenging. But I think overall, for a first try, I think it came out pretty good. Don't look too closely. There's a few little mistakes here and there, but overall, I'm very pleased with it, and I just love the colors. So that one is Matchsticks. Okay, and then the next one we worked on is this small one here. This is like the size of a pot holder almost, about 7 or so inches. And again, it was all machine pieced, and then I went back in and I did hand quilting. I stitched in the ditch for the quilting on this particular small quilt. And then, of course, machine stitching for the binding and assembling it. And that one also is from the Kim Deal book. So there's that front and back. Okay. And then the last one, this one is called Linen Drawer. Again, from the same book, the Kim Deal book. All right, so here's the one I just showed you. This is one that's called Fair and Square. And she gives you all the directions for putting it together. But I wouldn't say that this is a beginner's book. I mean, there's a lot of things that I think she assumes you already know. So for me, it was really helpful to have all of the wonderful ladies at my quilting club there to help out and, give me some pointers. There's a lot of holes in my knowledge base with quilting. So I'm learning a lot slowly and surely. Okay, Linen Drawer is this last one here. Let me see if I can find it in the book. This one was easier to piece because the rectangles and squares were bigger. The challenge for me was laying out the lights and darks because she doesn't tell you how to do that in the book. And I started putting the rows together just randomly, and I didn't like the way it was coming out. So I had to really sit, and one of the ladies in the quilt club showed me how to do that. She said, lay out your pieces for your first and second and third row and see if you like the way they look. But she said further than that, you also want to try to put like different values next to each other to make the pieces that they are next to pop out more. And so that was my big learning curve for this particular quilt. So here's the one in the book. And you can really see like the rows of squares that are in rectangles that are smaller really contrast well with the rows of bigger squares and rectangles because they've used that principle where you're putting like a lighter and a darker next to each other. And I think that that was more successful for me after I ripped apart the first few rows. Yeah, I mean, you can see here the rows of, like they stand out more, the smaller rows of narrower pieces versus the larger. So this is the third one that I worked on. And again, same thing. This one, although this is entirely machine pieced, and I also used my stitch in the ditch foot. And it's mostly okay, but there are a few spots where it didn't go exactly in the ditch. So I don't know, maybe it's just that I need more practice, or maybe there's some other techniques that I need to learn. But overall, I'm very pleased with this quilt as well. So yeah, so those are the 3 quilting projects that I've been working on over the winter. And then last but not least, I have some knitting projects. Now, some of these projects have been on the needles for a very long time. Others have been tucked away in my stash, awaiting me to start them. The past 10 years have been a little busy for me. And now that I'm retired, I'm so excited because I can get working, getting a lot of these projects that have been in the stash or have been just been sitting idly for a number of years. So here's the first one. Okay, this is like a shawlette, and it's an eyelet stitch with knits and purls. And it is in a circular design. So this was really fun. Once I finished it, like pinning it out was really fun because it kind of goes in a spiral. So I had to put my blocking pins in on 2 different levels. So I washed it and pinned it out on my blocking mats here. And then I had to superimpose another set of blocks to fit underneath this portion here. Okay, but it's really a lovely, lovely shawl. I love the colors. They're very earthy. They kind of remind me of the Southwest, with the sage green and the warm peachy color and the brown. So I'm looking forward to wearing this on some chilly nights. And it's really quite like, it drapes really beautifully, and the curls kind of hang in a spiral when it's around your neck on your shoulders. So this one definitely I really love. Okay, so there's that one. This next one is just like a neck piece, and it's worked in garter stitch. Okay, and it has 2 lobes, one on each end. And then inside here is a little tunnel. So you'd put this around your neck, and then you would pop the other lobe through the tunnel to wear it. So this would go around your neck like this. Okay, and there's the way it looks. So this one I thought was really pretty. It has some very pretty fall colors. These are like dark olive, a dark brown, kind of a grayish, and a deep navy. So I really loved working on this. It was very simple to do, kind of repetitive, and not something you necessarily had to concentrate on too much. Just good for working on in the evening, when you're sitting down relaxing. Okay, so that's that neck piece there. This one has been on my needles for at least 10 years, and I put it away for a long time. I was busy. I was very busy over these past few years when my mother was getting older and I became her caregiver. But in the past year or so, I've been picking this up here and there and finishing it up finally. This is another lace. This is a lace eyelet shawl. And I'm really pleased with the way it came out. I love this beautiful kind of mustard color, and it has a little bit of variegation in it. It's very lightweight, very, very soft, and just a dream. It just feels like a whisper when you're wearing it. Now you can kind of bunch it up a little bit more and wear it as like a scarf if you double it up around your neck a few times. or just wear it draped over your shoulders. Look at that. I mean, the color is so pretty on this, and the eyelet pattern, I just love it. So this is going to get a lot of use. Okay, so this one here, the eyelet shawl, and then last but not least on the shoulder pieces, this is just a simple, I think it's called the Homestead shawl. It's just a triangle, and it's knit in garter stitch. All right, this is the back, here's the front. Very simple triangle. This is a worsted weight yarn, and it called for 3 different colors, and you just alternate the rows. So we start, oh, I think I started on this end here. Yep, so we started on this end, cast on here on the tip, worked our way up, and then we just change colors as we work through the surface of the shawl. It's very simple, was quick to knit up, and it's very soft. It has a little bit of a tweed effect in it, and this will be a fun one to wear on some chilly spring evenings. Okay, next I have a number of pairs of socks that I have worked on over the winter. And I have this book here, which I really love. It's called Getting Started Knitting Socks by Ann Budd, and I refer to this one a lot. The nice thing about it is that it shows you all the mechanics of knitting socks, and also how to use pretty much any yarn you would like. And then you would work, make your yarn selection, and then do your gauge swatch, and then find the appropriate size for the sock that you need. So I believe this pair here, which is a cashmere hand dye, merino and cashmere hand dyed sock weight yarn, okay? And this one is 7 stitches per inch. So when I worked up my gauge swatch, I got 7 stitches to the inch. So all I have to do then is follow the sock making directions. It tells you how to cast on, how many stitches to put on there. It walks you through the leg, the heel flap, turning the heel, doing the gussets, the foot, the toe, and finishing. And again, all of the different sizes. Here's 6 stitches per inch, and so on. 5 stitches per inch, and so on. Okay, now, the other half of the book gives you directions for doing different kinds of patterns. So you can kind of just, invent your own sock style in your own, whatever yarn you choose. I love this book. So again, this is Getting Started Knitting Socks by Ann Budd. And so far, these are the socks that I've made using this particular book. Now this one is using a Regia sock yarn. This is just a little bit bulkier, so I think this one might have been 6 stitches to the inch, and I love these. I wear these, I have a pair of black Birkenstock sandals, and I love, on days that I know I'm going to be home, I love to put on a pair of these socks and wear them with my Birkenstock sandals, and of course most of the sock shows, which is really nice, so you get to admire the beautiful handwork and the colors when you're kind of hanging around the house or having a craft day at home, I like to say. Okay, and then again, this is also made with Regia sock yarn. Similar to this, it has the same gauge, 6 stitches per inch, but I made these a little bit shorter. They have like an ankle length cuff on them in sort of a denim, navy, and red colorway with some brown, some copper brown. And these socks really are like a luxury to me. When you put on a hand knit sock that fits your foot and has been custom made to fit your specific foot, it's just such a comforting treat, and I just really love wearing these. I have been putting them in the washing machine, when I do a load of wash and they wash up fine. I generally pop them into the dryer on a cool setting just for a few minutes to fluff them up after they come out of the washing machine. They haven't shrunken on me at all, and then I just hang them to finish drying that way. So again, a very special treat. I'm really enjoying making these socks and wearing them. And now I'm ready to, now that I've got my sock skills down pretty well, I'm going to be knitting some to give as gifts. So the last thing I wanted to share, and if you are a knitter, you may have seen these. This is called the Knit Kit. And this is nice for traveling because it's very compact. It has a row counter at the top. It has a tape measure here on the side, and you just push the button and it retracts inside. It has, let's see, a crochet hook here on this side that you can pop out if you need to use that for any purpose, like, you know, fixing stitches or what have you. Over here on this side is a tiny little cutter, so you can cut your threads. Okay, and that's then on the back side is this little compartment that has your needle protectors, some row counter rings. I've tucked in a tapestry needle, and then there's a tiny little pair of scissors that you can use as well. And everything fits into this nice little compact case, which is great. Now, it also has a ring at the top so that you can thread it around a lanyard or something if you need to hang it or clip it onto something. And yeah, so this has been a really handy item to have in my knitting bag. Okay, I think that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed watching. I'll be back again soon with some more paper crafting projects and probably some more quilting and knitting projects as well. I hope you enjoyed watching, and we'll see you back again really soon. Take care. Bye for now.